Question 1. Which of the following statements accurately describes the principle of indemnity in casualty insurance? A. Indemnity allows insured individuals to profit from a loss, ensuring that they receive more than the amount of their loss. B. The principle of indemnity ensures that the insured is restored to their financial position prior to the loss, without profiting from the claim. C. Indemnity is a form of insurance that covers losses from intentional acts by the insured. D. The principle of indemnity applies only to property insurance and not to liability insurance. Answer. B. Explanation. The principle of indemnity is a fundamental concept in insurance which stipulates that an insured party should not profit from a loss but should instead be restored to the financial position they occupied prior to the loss. This principle ensures fairness and prevents moral hazard, where individuals might intentionally incur losses for financial gain. In New Mexico, as in many jurisdictions, this principle applies across various types of insurance, including casualty insurance. Option is incorrect as it implies that the insured can profit from losses, which violates the principle. Option C misrepresents indemnity, as it does not cover losses from intentional acts, which are typically excluded. Option D is also false because the principle applies to both property and liability insurance. Question 2. Under New Mexico law, what is a key requirement for a claim to be considered under a commercial auto insurance policy? A. The vehicle must be registered in the name of the insured. B. The driver must be an employee of the insured at the time of the incident. C. The vehicle must be used exclusively for business purposes. D. The incident must result in bodily injury or property damage to a third party. Answer. D. Explanation. In New Mexico, commercial auto insurance policies primarily provide coverage for liability arising from the use of covered vehicles. To be eligible for a claim, the incident must generally result in bodily injury or property damage to a third party as stipulated by the liability coverage of the policy, while having the vehicle registered in the insured's name. Option A, or ensuring the driver is an employee. Option B may be beneficial for policy coverage. They are not strict requirements for filing a claim. Additionally, while commercial auto insurance often covers vehicles used for business, it does not mandate that the vehicle be used exclusively for that purpose. Option C. Question 3, scenario-based. Ms. Rodriguez is a small business owner in New Mexico. One of her employees, during the course of their duties, accidentally causes damage to a client's property while delivering a service. Ms. Rodriguez is unsure whether a general liability insurance will cover the damage. What should Ms. Rodriguez consider regarding her insurance policy coverage? A. Coverage is guaranteed as long as the employee was on company time during the incident. B. She should check for an employee injury exclusion, which would negate coverage for this incident. C. Liability coverage generally extends to incidents involving employees as long as they are acting within the scope of their employment. D. A policy will only cover damages if a formal contract was in place with the client prior to the incident. Answer. C. Explanation. In general liability insurance, coverage typically extends to claims arising from the actions of employees while they are acting within the scope of their employment. This means that if an employee causes damage to a client's property while performing duties for the business, the insurance should cover the claim, barring any exclusions specific to the policy. Option O is misleading because coverage isn't automatic just because the employee was on company time. It must be within the scope of their employment. Option B is incorrect because there is usually no employee injury exclusion that would negate coverage for property damage caused by an employee while working. Option D is also incorrect. Liability insurance does not require a formal contract to provide coverage for incidents occurring during normal business operations. Question 4. What is the primary purpose of subrogation in casualty insurance? A. To prevent insurance fraud by monitoring claims for discrepancies. B. To allow insurers to recover costs from third parties responsible for the loss. C. To ensure that insured parties receive maximum benefits from their policy. D. To facilitate faster claim settlements for policyholders. Answer. B. Explanation. Subrogation is a critical principle in casualty insurance that allows insurers to seek reimbursement from third parties that may be responsible for a loss. When an insurer pays a claim to an insured party, they can then pursue the responsible party to recover that amount. This mechanism helps keep insurance premiums low by ensuring that costs are borne by those at fault rather than by the insurer or policyholders collectively. Option A incorrectly implies that subrogation's purpose is monitoring for fraud, which is not its primary aim. Option C is misleading as subrogation does not directly benefit the insured beyond the initial claim payment. Option D is incorrect because subrogation does not influence the speed of claims settlements. Question 5. In the context of New Mexico's workers' compensation insurance, which of the following statements is true regarding the benefits provided? A. Workers' compensation benefits are available only to employees who have been with the company for over 1 year. B. Medical benefits cover all types of medical expenses incurred due to work-related injuries. C. Employees can choose any healthcare provider they prefer for treatment without restrictions. D. Disability benefits are contingent on the employee's ability to return to work. Answer. B. Explanation. In New Mexico, workers' compensation insurance provides various benefits, including medical benefits that cover expenses directly related to work-related injuries. This can include doctor visits, hospital stays, and rehabilitation. Option is incorrect because there are no 10-year requirements for workers' compensation benefits, so all eligible employees, regardless of their duration of employment, can receive benefits. Option C is misleading because while employees may have some choices, many policies require treatment from approved healthcare providers. Option D is false. The disability benefits are typically provided based on the severity of the disability rather than contingent on the employee's ability to return to work immediately. Question 6. Which of the following accurately describes the difference between claims-made and occurrence policies in liability insurance? A. Claims-made policies cover incidents that occur during the policy period, regardless of when the claim is filed. B. Occurrence policies cover claims that are reported during the policy period, even if the incident happened prior to the policy start. C. Claims-made policies only provide coverage if the claim is made during the policy period, regardless of when the incident occurred. D. Occurrence policies only cover incidents that occur after the policy is purchased. Answer. C. Explanation. Claims-made policies require that claims must be reported during the active policy period, regardless of when the incident causing the claim occurred. This means that if a claim is made after the policy has expired, the insurer has no obligation to cover it unless there is a tail coverage or an extended reporting period. Option A is incorrect as it misstates the claims-made coverage requirements. Option B is also incorrect because occurrence policies cover incidents based on when they occurred, not when reported. Option D misrepresents occurrence policies as they cover incidents that occur during the policy period, regardless of when the policy is purchased, as long as it is in effect at the time of the incident. Question 7. In New Mexico, what are the requirements for obtaining a license as a casualty insurance agent? A. Completion of a pre-licensing course, passing a state exam, and having a high school diploma. B. Successful completion of a background check and obtaining a surety bond. C. Minimum of 3 years of experience in the insurance industry and a bachelor's degree. D. Passing a state exam, completion of continuing education credits, and submitting a license application. Answer. D. Explanation. In New Mexico, the requirements to obtain a casualty insurance agent license include passing the state exam, completing the necessary continuing education credits, and submitting a completed license application. This ensures that agents are knowledgeable about current laws and regulations governing insurance. Option is partially correct but does not mention the necessity for continuing education. Option B is misleading as a surety bond is not a standard requirement for agents. Option C is incorrect because while experience can be beneficial, it is not a formal prerequisite for obtaining an agent's license. Question 8. What is a common exclusion found in most commercial auto insurance policies? A. Damage to vehicles owned by the insured. B. Liability coverage for employees driving their personal vehicles for business purposes. C. Coverage for vehicles used for racing or competition. D. Physical damage coverage for leased vehicles. Answer. C. Explanation. Most commercial auto insurance policies commonly exclude coverage for vehicles used in racing or competition. This exclusion exists because the risks associated with racing far exceed standard operational risks, and insurers do not typically cover such activities. Option is incorrect as most policies provide coverage for owned vehicles. Option B is misleading, and while personal vehicle use may not be covered, many policies offer endorsements or business use coverage for employees driving their own cars. Option D is false as physical damage coverage can extend to leased vehicles depending on the terms of the policy. Question 9. Regarding the ethical responsibilities of insurance agents in New Mexico, which of the following is a primary obligation? A. To prioritize the financial interests of the insurance company over the client's needs. B. To disclose all relevant information to clients, including policy limitations and exclusions. C. To provide advice solely based on personal beliefs and experiences. D. To engage in competitive pricing strategies that mislead clients about policy benefits. Answer B. Explanation. Insurance agents in New Mexico have a primary ethical obligation to disclose all relevant information to clients, including any limitations and exclusions associated with insurance policies. This transparency is crucial for informed decision-making and maintaining trust in the client-agent relationship. Option A is incorrect. Agents should act in the best interests of their clients rather than prioritizing the insurer's financial interests. Option C is misleading because agents should base their advice on facts and policy terms rather than personal beliefs. Option D is unethical and contrary to the principles of fair competition and honest representation in the insurance industry. Question 10. Scenario-based. Mr. Thompson owns a landscaping business and recently purchased a general liability insurance policy. While working on a client's property, one of his employees accidentally damages a fence during the work. The client demands compensation for the damage. What should Mr. Thompson do regarding his general liability policy? A. He should pay the client directly without involving his insurance company, as it would save time. B. He should immediately report the incident to his insurer, as it may be covered under his general liability policy. C. He should wait for the client to file a formal complaint before taking any action. D. He should decline responsibility, claiming that the damage occurred outside of work hours. Answer B. Explanation. Mr. Thompson should report the incident to his insurer immediately, as general liability insurance typically covers damages caused by employees while performing their work duties. This proactive approach allows the insurance company to assess the claim and manage the response appropriately. Option is risky because selling directly without notifying the insurer may violate the terms of the policy, which could result in denial of coverage for the incident. Option C is not advisable, as delaying action can complicate the claims process. Option D is incorrect because it denies responsibility for an incident occurring during work hours, which would generally be covered under his policy. Question 11. Which of the following best describes the principle of utmost good faith in insurance contracts? A. Both parties must act honestly and disclose all material facts related to the insurance policy. B. The insurer has the right to deny claims without explanation if they suspect fraud. C. The insured must pay the premiums on time to maintain coverage. D. The insurer is obligated to provide coverage for all claims made by the insured. Answer A. Explanation. The principle of utmost good faith bona fides requires that both the insurer and the insured act honestly and disclose all material facts relevant to the contract. This principle underpins the relationship between the insurer and the insured, ensuring transparency and honesty. Option B is incorrect. While insurers can investigate claims, they cannot deny claims solely based on suspicion without cause. Option C, while true, does not encompass the entirety of utmost good faith. Option D is misleading because the insurer is not obligated to cover all claims. The coverage is contingent upon the terms of the policy. Question 12. In New Mexico, which of the following would most likely be considered an intentional tort? A. An employee injuring a coworker accidentally while lifting heavy equipment. B. A business owner failing to maintain a safe environment leading to a slip and fall incident. C. A person deliberately damaging a neighbor's property out of spite. D. A customer injuring themselves while using a product that has a design flaw. Answer C. Explanation. An intentional tort involves deliberate actions that cause harm to another party. In this case, option C, where a person intentionally damages a neighbor's property, qualifies as an intentional tort. Option A describes negligence as the injury was unintentional. Option B also represents negligence as it involves failure to maintain a safe environment leading to harm. Option D relates to product liability rather than an intentional tort, as the injury stems from a defect rather than a deliberate action. Question 13. Which of the following factors is NOT typically considered when determining the premium for commercial auto insurance? A. The type of vehicles insured. B. The number of miles driven by the vehicles each year. C. The driver's personal credit history. D. The nature of the business operations conducted using the vehicles. Answer C. Explanation. While personal credit history may impact individual insurance rates, it is not typically a factor in determining commercial auto insurance premiums. Factors such as the type of vehicles insured, option A, the number of miles driven, option B, and the nature of the business operations, option D, are all critical considerations for underwriting and premium calculation. Insurers focus on the risk associated with business operations and vehicle usage rather than personal credit history when assessing commercial insurance. Question 14. Under the New Mexico Workers' Compensation System, what is the maximum duration for temporary total disability benefits? A. 26 weeks. B. 52 weeks. C. 104 weeks. D. Indefinitely until the employee can return to work. Answer. C. Explanation. In New Mexico, temporary total disability benefits can be provided for up to 104 weeks, 2 years from the date of the injury. This duration is designed to provide support to employees unable to work during their recovery. Option A is incorrect as it underestimates the duration. Option B, while closer, is still too short. Option D is misleading, and while benefits may continue until the employee can return to work, they are subject to the 104-week limitation. Question 15. What is the purpose of excess liability insurance in relation to underlying insurance policies? A. To cover all claims regardless of limits set by underlying policies. B. To provide coverage that kicks in only after the limits of the underlying policies have been exhausted. C. To offer low premiums for policyholders with high value assets. D. To replace the need for standard liability coverage entirely. Answer. B. Explanation. Excess liability insurance provides an additional layer of coverage that comes into effect only after the limits of underlying policies, such as general liability or auto liability, have been exhausted. It is designed to protect against large claims that exceed standard policy limits. Option is incorrect because excess liability insurance is contingent on the underlying policy's limits being met first. Option C does not accurately reflect the purpose of excess liability insurance. Option D is misleading, as excess liability is meant to supplement rather than replace standard coverage. Question 16. In a scenario where an insured has liability insurance, what does defense costs typically refer to? A. The expenses incurred while investigating potential claims against the insured. B. The legal fees and related costs incurred in defending against a claim. C. The compensation paid to the claimant if the case is lost. D. The costs of settling a claim before it goes to trial. Answer. B. Explanation. Defense costs refer to the legal fees and associated expenses incurred in defending against a liability claim made against the insured. These costs are typically covered by liability insurance policies, regardless of the outcome of the claim. Option A is partially correct, but does not encompass the full scope of defense costs. Option C is incorrect, as compensation to the claimant is separate from defense costs. Option D refers to settlement costs, which are also distinct from defense costs. Question 17. Which of the following is a critical responsibility of employers under the New Mexico Workers' Compensation Act? A. To provide health insurance coverage to all employees. B. To establish a workplace safety program to prevent injuries. C. To report all work-related injuries to the local law enforcement agency. D. To notify employees about their rights under the Workers' Compensation Act. Answer. D. Explanation. Employers in New Mexico are required to inform their employees about their rights and responsibilities under the Workers' Compensation Act, which includes providing information on how to file a claim. This transparency is crucial for ensuring that employees understand their benefits and the claims process. Option A is not a requirement of the Workers' Compensation Act, though it is a separate obligation under other laws. Option B, while a good practice is not mandated under the Act. Option C is incorrect. Injuries do not need to be reported to law enforcement unless criminal activity is involved. Question 18. Which statement best describes the concept of indemnity in insurance? A. It guarantees that an insured will make a profit from their loss. B. It is a promise to pay a specified amount upon the occurrence of a loss. C. It restores the insured to their pre-loss financial condition. D. It provides benefits for the insured's emotional distress resulting from a loss. Answer. C. Explanation. Indemnity refers to the principle in insurance that aims to restore the insured to their financial position prior to the loss without allowing them to profit from the insurance payout. This concept ensures fairness and prevents moral hazard, where an insured might otherwise act recklessly knowing they would not bear the full financial consequence of their actions. Option is incorrect because indemnity does not involve profiting from a loss. Option B misrepresents indemnity as it is about restoration rather than a guaranteed payment. Option D is misleading because emotional distress is typically not covered under indemnity provisions. Question 19. In New Mexico, which of the following scenarios would NOT typically be covered by general liability insurance? A. A customer slips and falls in a store injuring themselves. B. An employee causes damage to a client's property while working on site. C. An insured deliberately damages a competitor's advertising materials. D. A product defect causes injury to a consumer. Answer: C. Explanation. General liability insurance typically does not cover intentional acts, including deliberate damage to a competitor's property, as these actions fall outside the scope of coverage designed to protect against unintentional harm. Option A is covered under premises liability, a subset of general liability. Option B relates to property damage caused during business operations, which is generally covered. Option D is associated with product liability, also covered under general liability policies provided the product was used as intended. Question 20 is scenario-based. Mrs. Garcia runs a small bakery and recently received a claim from a customer who alleges food poisoning after eating one of her pastries. Mrs. Garcia is concerned about the potential costs associated with the claim. What action should she take to protect her business? A. Ignore the claim and hope it resolves itself without further issues. B. Consult with her general liability insurance provider and report the claim immediately. C. Offer the customer a refund to prevent the claim from escalating. D. Stop selling the pastry in question and publicly apologize. Answer: B. Explanation. Mrs. Garcia should consult with her general liability insurance provider and report the claim immediately. Reporting the claim ensures that she is protected under her insurance policy, which typically covers legal fees and settlements arising from such claims. Ignoring the claim, option A, could lead to escalation and further financial liability. Offering a refund, option C, might not absolve her from the claim, and while it shows good faith, it doesn't address the potential legal consequences. Option D could further harm her business reputation and does not mitigate the liability she may face. By reporting the claim, she allows her insurer to assess and handle the situation appropriately. Question 21. What is the primary purpose of a subrogation clause in an insurance policy? A. To allow the insurer to deny a claim if the insured is at fault. B. To enable the insurer to recover costs from a third party responsible for a loss. C. To guarantee that the insured will receive full compensation for their loss. D. To ensure that the insured pays their premiums on time. Answer: B. Explanation. A subrogation clause allows the insurer to recover the costs of a loss from a third party that may be responsible for that loss after compensating the insured. This helps insurers manage their expenses and minimizes overall costs for policyholders. Option A is incorrect. Subrogation does not relate to denying claims. Option C misrepresents the purpose of subrogation, which does not guarantee full compensation for all losses. Option D is unrelated to the concept of subrogation. Answer: C. Explanation. Bodily injury liability insurance is required for most motor vehicle owners in New Mexico. This type of coverage helps pay for injuries that the insurer may cause to others in an accident. Collision and comprehensive insurance are optional coverages, while uninsured and underinsured motorist insurance is recommended but not mandatory. Thus, option C is the correct answer, as it represents a legally required coverage. Question 22. In New Mexico, which of the following types of insurance is required for most motor vehicle owners? A. Collision insurance. B. Comprehensive insurance. C. Bodily injury liability insurance. D. Uninsured and underinsured motorist insurance. Question 23. What is the primary distinction between an open peril policy and a named peril policy? A. Open peril policies cover specific risks, while named peril policies cover all risks. B. Named peril policies cover specific risks, while open peril policies cover all risks except those explicitly excluded. C. Open peril policies have lower premiums than named peril policies. D. Named peril policies provide broader coverage than open peril policies. Answer: B. Explanation. An open peril policy provides coverage for all risks unless specifically excluded in the policy, whereas a named peril policy covers only those risks explicitly listed in the policy. This distinction is critical for understanding the breadth of coverage. Option A is incorrect because it reverses the definitions. Option C is misleading, and premiums depend on various factors, not just the type of coverage. Option D is incorrect because named peril policies are generally more limited in scope compared to open peril policies. Question 24. Under New Mexico law, what is the time limit for filing a lawsuit related to a personal injury claim? A. 1 year from the date of the injury. B. 2 years from the date of the injury. C. 3 years from the date of the injury. D. 5 years from the date of the injury. Answer. B. Explanation. In New Mexico, the statute of limitations for filing a personal injury lawsuit is generally 2 years from the date of the injury. This time limit is crucial for plaintiffs to be aware of in order to preserve their right to seek compensation. Option is incorrect as it underestimates the limit, while options C and D extend the time beyond what is legally permissible. Question 25. Which of the following is true regarding the cancellation provision in an insurance policy? A. The insurer can cancel the policy at any time without notice. B. The insured must be given a specific notice period before cancellation can occur. C. Cancellation provisions are not subject to state regulations. D. Insurers cannot cancel a policy once it is in force. Answer. B. Explanation. In most cases, including New Mexico, the insured must be given a specific notice period before an insurer can cancel a policy. This protects policyholders from unexpected cancellations. Option A is incorrect and insurers cannot cancel without notice unless specified by the policy. Option C is misleading as cancellation provisions are indeed subject to state regulations. Option D is false. Insurers can cancel policies, but they must adhere to the terms of the policy and state law regarding notice. Question 26. In New Mexico, if an insured has an auto insurance policy with a $1,000 deductible and incurs $5,000 in damages, how much will the insurer pay? A. $4,000. B. $5,000. C. $1,000. D. $6,000. Answer A. Explanation. If the insured has a $1,000 deductible, the insurer will pay the total damages minus the deductible amount. Thus, for $5,000 in damages, the payout would be $5,000. $1,000 equals $4,000. Option B is incorrect because it does not account for the deductible, while options C and D are also incorrect for the same reason. Question 27. What is the role of the New Mexico Office of Superintendent of Insurance? A. To establish insurance premiums for all policies sold in the state. B. To regulate and oversee insurance companies and ensure compliance with state laws. C. To settle disputes between insured individuals and their insurance companies. D. To provide direct insurance coverage to residents of New Mexico. Answer. B. Explanation. The New Mexico Office of Superintendent of Insurance is responsible for regulating and overseeing insurance companies operating in the state, ensuring they comply with state laws and regulations. Option is incorrect. While they may influence rates, they do not set premiums. Option C misrepresents their role. The office does not directly settle disputes, although they may assist with consumer complaints. Option D is also incorrect, as they do not provide direct insurance coverage. Question 28. Which of the following types of coverage protects against loss of income due to a business interruption? A. General liability insurance. B. Business owner's policy BOP. C. Commercial auto insurance. D. Product liability insurance. Answer. B. Explanation. A business owner's policy BOP typically includes coverage for business interruption, which protects against loss of income resulting from a covered peril that disrupts business operations. Option A does not cover income loss, it deals with liability claims. Option C pertains to vehicle-related incidents and does not cover income loss. Option D covers claims related to product defects, not business income. Question 29. What is the purpose of an insurance policy's exclusion clause? A. To outline the responsibilities of the insured in the event of a claim. B. To define the coverage limits for specific types of risks. C. To specify risks or situations that are not covered by the policy. D. To provide guidelines for the insurer's claims processing procedures. Answer. C. Explanation. An exclusion clause in an insurance policy explicitly states the risks or situations that are not covered by the policy. Understanding exclusions is essential for insured individuals to know what is not protected. Option A relates to duties rather than exclusions, while option B refers to limits rather than exclusions. Option D pertains to administrative procedures, not coverage specifics. Question 30, scenario-based. Mr. Thompson is a contractor who accidentally damages a client's property while working on a project. He has a general liability insurance policy. What should Mr. Thompson do first in response to the incident? A. Immediately fix the damaged property to minimize the claim. B. Notify his insurance provider about the incident as soon as possible. C. Ignore the incident since he believes it will not lead to a claim. D. Discuss the situation with the client and agree on a settlement amount. Answer: B. Explanation. Mr. Thompson should notify his insurance provider about the incident as soon as possible. Prompt reporting allows the insurer to start the claims process and ensure that coverage applies to any potential damages while fixing the property. Option A might be a good idea. It does not replace the necessity of notifying the insurer. Ignoring the incident. Option C could lead to complications later on if a claim arises. Option D is not advisable because any agreement on settlement should be handled through the insurer to ensure proper coverage and documentation.